On June 19, 2009, the stock price of Nextel fell 23% in a single trading session, erasing more than $6 billion in market value and sending a shockwave through an industry that had once hailed the company as the future of instant communication. It was a moment that encapsulated a paradox. A network that had promised the immediacy of a walkie-talkie, wrapped in the sleek design of a smartphone, was now stumbling under the weight of its own ambition. The story begins in the early 1990s, when a group of engineers at Motorola envisioned a wireless system that could connect two people at the push of a button, no dialing required, no waiting for a ringtone. In 1995, that vision materialized as the Integrated Digital Enhanced Network, or IDEN, a hybrid of digital cellular and two-way radio technology. It was a niche solution, initially adopted by public safety agencies, construction crews, and taxi dispatchers who needed instant, reliable voice links across a sprawling urban landscape. When Nextel entered the market in 1997, it did so with a daring proposition: a nationwide push to talk PTT service that behaved like a handheld radio, yet operated on a digital network that could also carry text messages and limited data. The tagline, "Never miss a beat," resonated with a generation that craved connectivity without delay. By 1999, the company had gone public, and its stock surged as investors bought into the romance of a wireless future that felt as immediate as a walkie-talkie in the palm of a hand. The early 2000s were a period of rapid expansion. Nextel built a network of towers that stretched from coast to coast, securing exclusive spectrum in the 800 MHz band, a prized slice of airwaves that offered superior indoor penetration compared to the higher frequency bands used by rivals. By 2005, Nextel boasted over 16 million subscribers and a market capitalization that placed it among the top telecom players in the United States. The company's aggressive marketing campaign, starring the iconic push-to-talk button, turned the service into a cultural touchstone, appearing in movies, TV shows, and even on the hands of celebrities who wanted a glimpse of that instant communication magic. Yet beneath the glossy veneer, warning signs began to emerge. First, the IDEN architecture was a closed, proprietary system. While it delivered lightning-fast voice connections, it lagged behind the rapidly evolving standards of CDMA and GSM that powered smartphones like the iPhone and BlackBerry. Second, the network's capacity was constrained by its narrow bandwidth. As data usage exploded, IDEN struggled to accommodate even modest internet traffic without sacrificing voice quality. Third, the cost structure was unsustainable. Nextel's pay-as-you-go PTT model required expensive infrastructure maintenance, and the company's pricing, premium minutes and high per-minute charges for out-of-plan usage, began to alienate price-sensitive consumers who were lured by the increasingly affordable data plans of its competitors. In 2005, the cracks widened when Nextel announced a partnership with Qualcomm to develop a 3G solution for its network. The venture, known as IDEN 3G, promised to bridge the gap between voice-centric PTT and the burgeoning demand for mobile internet. However, technical challenges stalled the rollout, and the project never achieved commercial viability. Meanwhile, rivals such as Verizon and AT&T were rolling out robust 3G and 4G networks, offering high-speed data, video streaming, and app ecosystems that captured the imagination of a new generation of users. By 2007, Nextel's growth curve flattened. Subscriber numbers plateaued at around 15 million, and revenue growth slowed to a single-digit percentage. Analysts warned that the company's heavy reliance on a single technology made it vulnerable to market disruption. The warning became louder when Sprint, a CDMA giant, announced a $35 billion merger with Nextel in 2005. A move intended to combine Sprint's data strength with Nextel's PTT dominance. The merger was billed as a strategic masterstroke, a unified network that could offer both high-speed data and instant voice communication. The integration, however, proved to be a nightmare. Sprint and Nextel operated on incompatible network architectures, and the merger required a costly and time-consuming overhaul of spectrum allocations. Internal culture clashes compounded technical hurdles. Sprint's data-focused engineers and Nextel's PTT-centric staff often spoke different languages, leading to misaligned priorities and delayed projects. By 2008, the combined entity was bleeding cash, posting quarterly losses that eroded investor confidence. The final blow came in early 2013, when the Federal Communications Commission (FCC) re-auctioned a portion of the 800 MHz band to accommodate the growing demand for LTE spectrum. Sprint, now saddled with debt from the merger and an aging IDN network, faced a stark choice: invest billions to refarm the spectrum for LTE or abandon the legacy PTT service altogether. In April 2013, Sprint announced that it would cease IDN operations by the end of the year, effectively ending the era of Nextel's push-to-talk network. The decision triggered a cascade of customer churn, as businesses that had relied on the instantaneous PTT feature were forced to migrate to alternative solutions, often at higher cost and with a learning curve. The aftermath was a mix of corporate restructuring and cultural nostalgia. Sprint absorbed the remaining Nextel assets, converting the network spectrum into LTE capacity that bolstered its 4G coverage. The IDN towers were dismantled, and the iconic push-to-talk button faded from smartphones, surviving only in a few niche devices sold to emergency services. Former Nextel employees faced layoffs, while the company's legacy lived on in the form of modern walkie-talkie apps that emulate the original experience over data networks. Subscribe to The Collapse for more stories like this.